honestly, I'm going to tell you a little secret. This was a game changer. So on Monday, I had a crazy baking marathon. Like, I will show you content here, and it was crazy. The amount of cakes that I did was insane, because September is also a really, really busy month, and I also wanted to make sure that I was like baking enough for the week, right? So what I did is I didn't have enough space. So what I did is I actually popped all of my dry ingredients in here. This is a chocolate cake. And then I put all of like the wet ingredients in like a little bowl, popped everything in the fridge. Obviously didn't put this in the fridge. And then the next day, or 2 days after, I just put everything together and it's just in the fridge, and in the oven. And it's so much easier this way. I used to do this back in the day. Like, so back in the day, I used to provide loaf cakes for a local cafe, and I used to pre-weigh everything like before work. Back in the day, I used to work as a librarian, and then I would put everything together and then bake it, and it was so much easier. But now I just kind of bake as I go. I don't prep my ingredients like a mise en place. So today's a baking day. I have 3 weddings this week, 2 celebration cakes. I'm saying it slowly. Let's just double check. I've got 2 weddings this week. I've got a wedding in a vineyard, which I'm so excited. I've got a local-ish, is it local? It's not really local, but it's in London. And then I have a cupcake tower wedding. And then I have a celebration cake, which is actually one of my couples from back in the day. And they always just kind of give me, or they always kind of use me for their celebration, which is very, very sweet. So I need to kind of work on that. And I also have, one of my friends is having a baby, so I do want to surprise her with some baby shower biscuits. I'm looking there because I do have like my little stamp that I have. So what I need to do now is I need to make sure that I pop everything on my to-do list, because what is everything without a to-do list? And I'm going to start baking everything. So I actually have, yesterday, whenever you're working with ganache, you need to kind of work ahead of time. So I prepped a whole load of ganache, which I'll be using for this week's wedding. I do need to make some more. This is not going to be enough because they're having an 11-inch, 8-inch, and then 5-inch cake. But I do want to start off with cleaning everything down, making sure that everything is disinfected. And then I want to start off with making some vegan ganache. So this week was exceptionally busy. I feel like I really overloaded a lot of my days. One of my followers got in contact with me, and she said, it feels like you're always working in the day and you rarely work in the evenings. And I agree. Like, normally, most of the times I'm really just working in the day, and I don't do late nights as much anymore. But this week just felt different, I think, because there was so many moving parts. But as you can see, I am just starting to fill up my cakes. Now, I work with an American buttercream because I just think it's the most stable. This cake was a vanilla and passion fruit cake, which is delicious. Oh, actually, no passion fruit with the cupcakes. This was a lemon elderflower, my bad. Now, the key with sponges for wedding cakes, you want them to be obviously really nice and soft and moist. However, you don't want them to just be too dense either, because you're stacking an incredible amount of weight on these cakes. You want to be able to actually have them hold the weight. Of course, the weight is on the dowels, but especially over time, the cake has the layers of buttercream on it, so you want to make sure that it's incredibly nice and stable. Now, I'm working on a chocolate sponge, which I kind of feel like chocolate is a flavor that I don't really do as much of, especially for weddings. I really do see this, I mean in the summer, but I really do see this flavor kind of pick up a little bit in the autumn and in the winter as well. So I'm just going in and I am spreading the American buttercream, which is a vanilla buttercream. And this is also one thing that I really enjoy doing, is at the beginning I normally make some vanilla, my own vanilla extract at the beginning of the year, so in January, and I brew it for the entire year. So one of my tips also is making sure that I'm wrapping my layers when they are nice and warm, and that also just locks in a lot of the moisture, and it also just helps the cakes to just be nice and, I suppose, fudgy, especially for the chocolate cakes. But I think there's something about wrapping the cakes when they're warm. It makes them so much more moist. So I've always done this. Here I am just working on some baby shower biscuits, which they turned out very, very cute. I unfortunately couldn't make it. I feel like that's just the the norm of someone that works in the wedding industry. They miss a lot of the weekend things that they would have normally attended. So I sent off some biscuits so I could be there in biscuit form, I guess. And they turned out really, really cute. She was having a baby boy. Now I'm going in to start off working with the cupcakes for the Sunday wedding. This is the next day and I'm starting off with some vegan cupcakes. Friday today, actually. It's Friday and it is a wedding weekend, so I have two on. You can see the tins are everywhere. Normally it's like nicely and stacked and orderly, but it's not this time. So it is a wedding day on Saturday and also Sunday. And also I do have like a celebration cake. It's 26 degrees in here. It's beautiful. It's very nice and warm. I'm actually going to change into something that's not as thick because it's a little bit warm in here and the sun is just there, which is beautiful. I love it. So it's a wedding weekend today. Well, this weekend, sorry. So you would have seen, I just popped in some vegan cupcakes. My couple have gone for chocolate, raspberry, vegan cupcakes. And then I'm going to wash everything here. I normally like to have like halfway point where I just wash everything, kind of have a little bit of a breather, and then when I say breather I mean literally washing out whilst I listen to a podcast, and then I'm gonna get back to white icing my vegan cake. So I'll pop them here. I have my vegan cake, which is to be iced, which is still yellow, so like a natural ganache, and then I have a white 3-tier cake, so I need to work on that now. I'm looking at a cake that I have just up here. I'll pop a photo here of what it actually is like. I think I'm going to do something similar to that, but also have I think they're going for like a peach, pink, green. So I'm going to clear down everything. Everyone, it is 10 to 8 right now. It's a Saturday. It is a wedding morning. You would have just seen my table. It is a little chaotic. I feel like there are so many kind of moving parts at once. So I've got 2 weddings today, a celebration cake tomorrow, and then a wedding tomorrow, which is a cupcake tower. So yesterday I was going to film content, but it was so dark. Like I got into bed at like 10, I think, around 10. And it was just like a 13 hour day. So I was like, there is just no content at the end of the day because the lighting was just, it wasn't giving anything. So I'm going to start today off with I'm going to bake the cupcakes. I would have shown you yesterday. Let me put my arm down. Honestly, this is a little bit too heavy. Do you know what? I did arm day yesterday. So let me put my arm down. 1 second. Okay, I've put you down. So, what happened? Yesterday, I would have shown you I have pre-weighed out all of my ingredients. I actually used to do this back in the day. I saw another baker doing it and I was like, I'm gonna do that again. So I pre-weighed out all my ingredients. So for example, like here, I just pop on like the ingredients that I need. And I have pre-baked my red velvets and then my chocolate. The reason I did that the day before was because I feel like they get better with time because there is so much moisture in them. These have buttermilk inside them, and then the chocolate also, like I feel like chocolate cake is always better. Want to say like day 2, always better day 2. So I am gonna work on that now. I'm gonna pop everything in the oven. I'm also kind of doing simultaneously things at once because I've got wedding cake consultation boxes or wedding sample boxes that need to go out on Monday. So I need to bake the loaves ahead of time so that they're gonna be okay to slice, because I always try and have like clean slices, which I'll pop here. And I love making them. I might do a video actually on me making them because cling film, because they're actually really fun to make. So today I'm in Sussex. I'm like so far out down south. I am almost near the coast, and then I'm back in London. So I'm hoping that there's no like craziness on the M25. I was gonna do like an equivalent in the US or another country. I have no idea like what the equivalent of like a motorway would be. I think it's the highway or the freeway. I was in South Africa and I was like, oh yeah, is the highway the freeway? And they're like, no. Is the highway motorway? No. And I was just like, I have no idea what the equivalent is. So what I'm gonna do, this was my little plate of like ganache and colouring. Let's talk about colouring now actually. Let's talk about colouring. Colouring. Now, top tip, come closer. Now, if you want to get like a different type of colour that isn't like a primary colour, because this is great, like, but it's giving children's birthday party instead of like sophisticated luxury wedding. You want to add in like obviously a little bit of this colour. So if you wanted to get like a burnt orange, you'd grab this and then you'd add like a touch of black, because you would see here like I've got like a little bit of black here, and it just kind of cancels out like the crazy colour, if that makes sense. Are they even called crazy colours? Back in the day, like 2016 era, they used to be like food coloring called crazy colours. Anyway, it's called rainbow dust. We don't want a rainbow wedding cake. We want something that's like elegant, classy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually start throwing things into my emergency kit, just as I'm like remembering what I need to have. I'm going to bake the cupcakes. I need to bake the loaf cakes, and then I need to double check on the cakes because I need to double check if there's any cracks, because there may be cracks in the wedding cake. Let me show you what's inside the fridge. So I should say, I got this because I was like, oh, this is so cute. I want to be like, I want to not be like a Korean lady, but I want to have this like little apron. And then when I went to Thailand, it's a whole nother ball game with the sizing. There is a squirrel. I don't know what that has, but the squirrels are going absolutely rife for the apples. I have like almost every neighbour has an apple tree, which is actually quite funny. I feel like so many neighbours are on this side have apple trees. Can we see this? Like, I just think it's just, I was like, oh, this is going to be so like flowy, but it's basically like a dress. It's basically like a dress, although the back is quite cute. Anyway, let's stop procrastinating and let's get some cakes in the oven. I'm gonna do the vanilla. Can we speak English? Sometimes what I like to do is I like to do light to dark. So I'll do my vanillas and then I'll end with like a dark flavour. That was just like a tip that I learned from working in a bakery. Okay, for a very short time, which I should explain actually. But anyway, I'm gonna start baking and I'm gonna put all these calories away actually. Let's do that now. Now I think if you are a maker, there must be something that you hoard. It must be like different threads or yarn, or what else do people do? Different paints maybe. For me, it is colouring. I have like, Colour Mill has me by the chokehold. I feel like I have so many of their colours, but they are just such good quality colours. Now, as you would see here, I'm just going in and I am just making up a whole batch of cupcakes. These smell so good, and I'm not one to kind of enjoy the smell of cake because I feel like I'm constantly smelling it, but these just smell super, super yummy. Now, I actually let them cool down inside their boxes, and this is actually how I make my wedding cake sample boxes, which I will do a video on, and I just let them cool down in their boxes just so I had enough space. Now for the cupcakes, some of them were cored, so this was the vanilla and passion fruit. This was filled with a homemade passion fruit curd, which is so yummy, and then the Biscoff was filled with a Biscoff filling rather, and then like an Oreo crumb for the Oreo biscuits. It was just a really, really yummy selection. The couple had an idea of what they wanted, and they were very set on having like a cupcake tower. I did try and say, do you not want a 3-tier cake? But they were set, and when I saw it all set together, their mums actually came in, both the mum of the bride and the groom, and they were like, this just makes so much sense, this is such a great idea, and I really loved the idea. Okay, back to the wedding. Now, this was the wedding on Saturday. This was in a vineyard. Guys, this was insane. This was insane. I get to go to very beautiful weddings, but the amount of people that stopped just to kind of like have a peek at the cake was actually very, very sweet. Now, I was just so privileged to do this wedding cake because it was beautiful. Their family own a vineyard and it is very, very beautiful. I didn't get to like do like a quick tour and go around the vineyard, of course not, because there was so much on the day, but just from seeing it in the distance, it looked really, really beautiful. And I got to see the cake, the couple see the cake rather, and they loved it. They actually had their dog on the side, as you can see, which is a very, very sweet nod. And guys, they had a personalized pub. Like, this was so cool. This was the dog, but they had their surname. And this was the second wedding of the day. This was a very, very nice and simple vegan wedding cake, and I got to see the couple and she loved it. Sunday today. I don't know why I'm keeping my voice low, because in my head it makes sense. So I have parked a little bit further down. Now, one of my couples, I had them probably 3 years ago now, maybe. Wow, I'm seeing so many spiderwebs. It's bonkers. So one of my couples, they have been repeat customers of mine just for like birthdays and things like that and celebrations, and I've had to drop off the cake a lot earlier because I'll be going to church and also I have another wedding. So I'm like, can I drop it off at 9 o'clock? Is that okay? And he was like, just drop off my neighbours, that's absolutely fine. But they're literally next door, and you know those houses that are like so close to each other, so I really don't want to like see her in the window. And also it doesn't help that I'm wearing like an incredibly bright jumper today, but I've parked a little bit further down and I'm going to walk back. They have asked for it's just like a really small celebration cake, which I do them, and then they have asked for like little pictures on top of the cake to keep it like nice and personalized to mark like her career. So that's what I'm going to do, and then heading off to church, and then I am heading back and then going south to Morden Hall. I have a cupcake tower, which is going to be fun. It's just going to be fun. In my head, it's going to not take a huge amount of time to set up, but we know it's going to take a good amount of time to set up. I think like 150 cupcakes. I'm not too sure, but that was really fun making it. Did I re-ice the chocolate cupcakes? Probably twice. Yes, I did. They had a chocolate Oreo cupcake, and I feel like I just wanted it to have like in my head, I wanted it to look like a certain way, and it did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop off this cake to their neighbours because they're expecting me. I'm not even wearing my watch today. They're expecting me at 9 o'clock, and then am I still recovering from yesterday? Yes, I am. I will send you. This feels like a video note. This feels like a voice note. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to send you because it feels like I'm speaking to one of my friends. But I should have popped up some images from yesterday. Okay, see you at Morden Hall. So Morden Hall, this was a very beautiful wedding venue. It is in southwest London, not too far from Wimbledon, and this was so simple to set up because it was a cupcake tower, and I've come with all the boxes just pre-done. I could have done like plastic boxes, but I just kind of wanted to give some to the couple and then have some of the boxes kind of, I suppose, in the bin. I've separated all of the cupcake flavors to make sure it's really nice and easy. You'll see here in the background, they have actually done like a little key and they have described the different flavors. Now, I was delusional and I thought all of the cupcakes were going to fit on this stand, but the catering company was so kind and they lent me some cake stands. Now, the acrylic cake stand is actually from Prop Options. I get my stands from there. They are amazing and such good quality. Now, the silver stands are from the caterers and it just worked out perfectly, but they had a lot of cupcakes. I think it was just under 150, and I wanted to make sure that everything is nice and easy for their guests to get so they know exactly what flavors they're getting. I think cupcake towers are really fun. I think it just took me back to like 2016. I think this is something that a lot of people did back in the day, but it was just really nice and easy to set up. No stacking, none of that. It was just very simple, and look at everything set up. Like, honestly, the smell of this whilst I was setting up, it just smelled delicious, absolutely delicious. And I also wanted to mix up with the piping, but I did get to see the couple have a little bit of their shots, which is very adorable. And here's just some shots of the hall. Okay, I'm all done now. The wedding cakes, because the cupcake is set up. I'm gonna head now all the way back to North London because I'm in Southwest currently, and it was beautiful. I saw the couple, they were happy, and everyone was really happy. So I will see you on the next one, and don't forget to subscribe because I would love to see you guys around here, and comment. I'd love for you to comment what your favorite cupcake flavor was. Bye guys.